Everyone. This is Robert with Productivity for Programmers, and today I'm going to tell you about the basics of using the terminal. Some of the most common operations on a computer are done by pointing and clicking. For example, to move files or rename them, or if you want to make a new directory. Programmers tend to avoid using the mouse too frequently, and by switching your workflow to the terminal, you'll find that you're able to perform these actions with much less context switching, which helps keep you in flow. Of course, the kind of things you can do with the terminal go far beyond simple file manipulation, and this is a good way to get your feet wet with an essential tool for all programmers. If you're on Windows, terminal support is not very good, so I will be doing this on a Mac. Begin by hitting Shift-Space and typing terminal. This will open the default terminal window. There are better terminals like iTerm2, but we will cover that in a separate video. Immediately you'll see a white screen pop up. Everything you do using a directory browsing tool like Finder can be done through the terminal. However, getting good at it means a lot of the most common actions you can take will be done incrementally faster as you get better, saving you a lot of time in the long run. First, notice the tilde on the screen. This tells me that I'm in my home directory, the default starting place for the console. Next to that is my username, the one that I used to log into the computer. I can type ls to show what is in my current directory. At any given point when using the console, you will be in some directory. If you lost track of where, just type pwd and it will show you the full location. If you want more information on the files, you can type ls-l, which will show you things like the last modified time for that directory or file. You can also type ls-a, which will show you any hidden files, those beginning with a dot. To change to a different directory, we can type cd followed by the name. We can use this to go several layers deep by combining with a /. In this case, these directories don't exist, but you could use this kind of idea to go as far down as you wanted to into a directory structure. You can go back up the directory chain by typing cd followed by .. You can also make new directories by typing makedir mkdir followed by the name. If you need to make one directory and another, you will run into an error. For example, if I wanted to make directory 1, 2, 3, where I make directory 1 followed by 2 followed by 3, this complains that I can't do that. Instead, you will have to use makedir-p, which allows me to make directory 1, which contains 2, and 2, which contains directory 3. You can get a sneak peek of what's in a file by using the cat command, followed by the file name. If the file is too big, you can use head, followed by the file name, to show the first couple of lines, or tail to show the last couple of lines. You can even use head-n, for example head-n1, to show the first line, or head-n2, and so forth, to show the first two lines. To make a copy of a file, just type cp, followed by the file name, followed by the new file you would like to call it. In this case, I made a copy of I'm a file and put it into new file. You can rename a file by using the mv command for move to take your first file and moving it to another file. To remove a file, just type rm followed by the file name. If it's a directory, you'll need to prepend the rm command with an r. For example, to delete our directory 1, we have to use rm-r1. Obviously, you should be careful with this command. If you want to copy a whole directory over, you should also remember to type -R followed by the directory name. So here, I'm grabbing a directory like examples2, and I can use copy-R, examples2, examples3, to copy the full contents of the examples2 directory into examples3. If you've been performing a lot of terminal commands and need to redo an old one, you can hit up to find it. Here I'm hitting up a bunch of times, or down, to move up and down through my history of commands. One of the most useful commands you can use for terminals is Control-R, which, by typing a substring, allows you to go back through the history of commands you've typed. In this case, I typed ls, and by hitting Control-R multiple times, I can go backwards through my history to find all commands that contained the string ls. You can hit right to start editing the command, and then enter to execute it. You can also type history to access all the commands you've typed so far, or history, followed by vertical bar, followed by tail to see just the end. All the commands I've covered so far are common to any operating system that is a so-called Linux operating system, of which Macs are one. There are a couple of Mac-specific ones that are handy to keep in mind, however. You can use open to open any file as if you had clicked through it on a Finder window. This means that you can really do anything that you would usually do through a Finder on the terminal. Another trick is adding a vertical bar followed by pbcopy. For example, here I've typed ls tilde, which lists all the directories that are present in my home directory, followed by pbcopy. It is now on my clipboard, and I can open up my previous file, and I type Command V to paste the results. Here you see that the list of directories, the result of this command, have now been put into my clipboard. I'll explain what the vertical bar, called a pipe, does in a later video, since it's an incredibly useful terminal operation that allows you to combine arbitrarily many of the commands you learned. But for now, you should practice all the commands I showed you so you can move from the mouse to the keyboard and begin your journey towards maximizing your productivity as a programmer. This is Robert from Productivity for Programmers, and I'll see you again soon.